Okay, y'all, we're working on these storm doors on the porch this morning, and I'm not gonna lie, I started a video on this like 6 months ago when I hung the first door, and then I got lazy and forgot and never finished the rest of the project, and I think I then deleted the videos. So anyway, I don't have any of the original footage of the doors going up, but I can tell you basically, I don't know, I'm gonna get some haters. They're like, oh, thanks for showing us nothing, bro. But I mean, the doors come with pretty good instructions on how to set them all up. It gives you a range of how wide it has to be. We went to a lot of extra work because our door frames, let me back up a little bit here. Our door frame, the rough end, was a lot wider than the door itself needed to be. So I actually brought the door frame in to try to be exactly 36 inches or 35 and 7/8, whatever it said the door needed to be. But really, in hindsight, looking at the install instructions, the door frame work is all mounted to your trim right here, not to the interior of your door. So you can actually have a door that's quite a bit larger than your doorway, your entryway. You just have to bring your trim out to match the door. So the rough components here, these pieces, this, I guess you'd call it, it's not really the strike plate, but oh shoot, I know the word, but I can't think of it. Anyway, this piece, the top piece, and this side piece are all individual components. You attach this, the hinge section, actually it's already attached to the door. No, it's not, I'm just kidding. So you attach the hinge section to the door, and then you stand the whole door up, you line it up, you sink one screw. You see it's got the little slip here, so you can sink a screw, you can hang it, line everything up, make sure it's plumb, level, whatever. And then you hook up set your other piece up with the door closed to make sure it's all flush, and then put your top piece on. It's really not that complicated, I'm not gonna lie. I struggled with it a little bit, but it's just because it's the first one I've ever done. So doors up. The striker plates are a little weird because they give you a little template to use to drill your holes. And I used the template in both times and it wasn't quite right. So we ended up coming back through and chiseling in just a little bit to set this striker plate. I actually prefer it. I wish we'd chiseled deeper and set this thing to where it was just barely sticking out, because this is something you go through the door, with a backpack on or something, you get hung up on that. So anyway, it is what it is. A little creative beauty on my wife here. Western red cedar, we needed a 1x10. Well, it's like 8 inches, but of course a 1x8 would be 7 1/4, right? So we needed a 1x10. That's not an option. So we would have had to buy a 1x12, and they were about $50 a piece for an 8-foot 1x12. It was insane. So my wife said, hey, you know what? Why don't we just go with this tongue and groove? Same as what we put on the ceiling. It gives a little bit of accent, and it was way cheaper. So, somebody might be like, oh, that's kind of silly. Why'd you do that? Because we saved a ton of money. But it's all still Western red cedar. It all has the same look. It just has that goofy little tongue and groove joint on it. But it saved a lot of money, and I like it. Anyway, so back to the doors. We got both doors put up. They've been hung now for quite some time, but I'm just now finally coming back through and putting the latch on this one and putting the weather stripping on the bottom. That's just a piece of trim. It slides on the door, and then 2 screws zip it in, and you're done. And now I'm installing the actual gas shock here auto closer. So that's what I'm actually going to get some footage of for you guys. It just screws up. Again, not rocket science, but since I've got my cameras going, I'll at least show you that much. But all the rest of it, it's pretty simple. I wish I could tell you more about it. But anyway, we'll show you putting up this other shock. Okay, so looking in our bag of goodies here, here's our instructions for what it's worth. Just gives you a little schematic here on how to put together, tells you what screws you're supposed to use, which I hung the first door like I said, like 6 months ago. And my screws have gotten all jumbled up and messed up since then. So hopefully we can find enough to make this happen. We're gonna have a silver screw here that's not painted. Oh, it wants to use these big beefy suckers. Okay. We'll use these big mamas. So your hardware that you have to have is these 4 big suckers to screw the main base plate into the wall trim. This is a little pin that goes in the base of the shock. You've got another long skinny pin that joins the shock. And then of course you've got your actual brackets here. So the first thing that's going to go up is our base bracket. The angle of it faces the door, and there's actually a little mark right here on it. It says storm door that way, so it tells you to face it this way towards the door. I think I can do that without the ladder. I think I actually used the wrong screws on the other door, but they were still plenty long. Oh yeah, these are pink. They're on an inch. They don't tell you what dimension to set any of this stuff. Just need to make sure and give yourself enough space. Give yourself enough space that you can drop the pins in from the top. So come down 1.5 inches. My highly calibrated eyeball, that looks pretty level. One up top here. Man, that sounds like down something hard. Got away from me. To have these doors up and shut all the time. Keep the mosquitoes off the porch, keep the dogs off the porch. I'll actually be able to use this space for harvesting honey, like our old screen porch that we had when we lived in the suburbs. I'll actually have an enclosure so I can harvest honey. You won't have to go over to my father-in-law's barn to do it. Okay. So I am missing one piece because there's a little auto closer latch. This little piece here. I lost that piece when I was dinking around putting this door up 6 months ago. But you don't have to have it. It's just a little latch that you can use to lock the door open if you want to. These gas shocks, this piece can actually rotate a little bit. Doesn't really need to, but just so you know, if it moves on you, don't freak out. There's nothing wrong with it. This little notch here also goes towards the door. And it's got a little diagram on here that tells you if you have a screen panel versus a glass panel. So we've got a glass top panel, so we're going to use this outer hole when we line it up. But on this inside, on the inside hole, use this little short pin. So we just set our shock up in there. Mosquito off my hand. Oh my God. You are a persistent booger, aren't you? Where you at, huh? You wanna play? You wanna play? You wanna play? Alright, so that's up. And you can see, I got that backwards. So we're just gonna spin it around. No big deal, I think it's backwards. No, you want it forwards, like this. Because there's an adjustment screw right here that you need to be able to access. Put that up there, but we are going to use the outer hole. So we'll drop our shock down here, come through like that, and we're going to just, for now, we're just going to line this up real quick. I'll make one mark with a pencil, roughly level. Now again, there's a lot of play in it, so don't worry about being like dead on level. Just try to make it about right. And we're going to set on the innermost notch here. So this is adjustable. Set on the innermost notch, because then if you want to have the ability to open your door wider, you can just, if you had to, you could move this thing in, which actually doesn't make any sense because then it wouldn't work. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, and the door screws that I need. First, we're going to drill our pilot hole. And again, I got my screws all mixed up because I lost all the original instructions. These screws that I need for this are these big fat puppies here in the bottom of my door. And I just use those to put that weather strip on. Because I just was looking for screws that wouldn't penetrate all the way through the door. Put that on. Now I've got to find some. If I can find some short screws. Ooh, shoot. Here's two little bitty short things, but I'm afraid they're gonna, since I use those big fat ones, I messed it up. Because now there's a huge hole there. Let me see if I can manage to put these in that hole. They're gonna try to just keep going into the same hole. Little bitty things. These aren't the right screws for it either. I know they're not. Maybe I can trick it and it'll just stay. And I think of course, your weather stripping's not perfect, or concrete's not 100% perfect. But mosquitoes really aren't that smart. They're typically line of sight. So, see, I put that just a little low because I can't quite get my pin to come out. That's okay. If I have to, I can open the door and pull it out. Boop. So, that out. Here's where I gotta get my ladder so I can see on top of the door. Just to see what I'm doing up here. So our second hole here, pilot hole. It's like a 1/8 inch bit for the pilot hole, by the way. Finisher's off. Put this back up, drop our pin back in, start our pin back in. There we go. There's no keeper key or nothing, just gravity just holds it in there. So, give her a little test here, throw the door wide open, nothing breaks. Let her come shut. And you can see it kind of bounces. And then easy close. Come on, come on, come on. The other one worked. Easy, easy. Boy, we're letting the bugs in. But it's coming. It's coming. I want to see if it should snap right, boom. Right there at the end it kind of snaps, which is good because it pops that latch in. Yay! Both doors are up, auto closers are on, weather stripping's on. I want to call it bug stripping really, it's really not weather stripping, it's a storm door. It looks like it is weather stripping, but for our sake it's bug stripping. Cool, it's done. Man, let me show you guys. So, my wife, again, I have to give her credit for these awesome screens that she put up. My wife built these screen sections and she trimmed out all the doors. I need to adjust that door because it's closing super slow. And that's that screw I mentioned. I'll just give you guys a little tour around the outside here. I've still got to trim out the deck. We finally came up with an idea we both like. We poured that little concrete slab. Oh, this is so exciting. This is another one of those things. You guys have been watching my channel for a long time. You know I drag everything out, but 2 years. It's taken us 2 years to get these screens put up, and when we finally put our mind to it and did it, it took like 2 days. to just get all this stuff done. Not even 2 days. If we'd have really had all of our resources, everything together, we could have done all of this in a couple hours. Maybe not built all the screen panels, but certainly installed them, installed the doors, everything else. So, you know, we should figure out. This is awesome. The dogs were digging a huge hole here. Fix that little issue. And again, my wife and I did that. Nothing to it. Bag's a quick creep. See, this one closes a little faster. So this is on the other side. See, it closes a little bit faster. And so I think it says this screw can just be adjusted. Just a Phillips screw, and it says to do it faster, turn it to the left. Let's give it like just a little bit. Let's just see what happens. Probably should use a screwdriver, but I don't have one. So that's like 3 turns. Let's see what that does. Woo! Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely much better. Let's give her a little more. So that must be like a needle valve that just controls the rate of the, I think it's actually a grease shock, not a gas shock. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm adjusting this one too. Because even though it closes fast, it still closes smooth. We want these things to be open and shut. Yeah. Get out, kids. Ah! Ooh, too much. That slammed all the way. I like that. One big swoosh and then close. It doesn't slam in one go. It's, whoa, one quick sweep. Uh-oh. Over to it. I think because I threw the door too far open, it messed it up. But the kids are going to do that. The kids are definitely going to throw the door too far open. Let's just say we go all the way with it. One big bounce, close. I like that. Sweet. I like that a lot. And now I'm going to try to be a gentleman and actually clean up all these tools. Because my wife goes nuts at a mess, so I'm going to try to be nice and clean them up. That's the surprise for her.